They told you it's impossible. They said you cannot build muscle unless you're in a calorie surplus. And you believed them, just like I did. But here's the truth. That's a myth. And today, I'm here to prove it. You're on a cut and you're afraid to lose your gains, or worse, thinking that progress needs to be put on a pause until the next bulk. This video, it's for you. Let's shatter the myth right now. Now, the question is, can you build muscle in a calorie deficit? And the short answer is yes, you can. Long answer, well, buckle in. What I'm about to say would flip upside down the mainstream fitness on its head. How do I know? I lived it. I was the skinny guy, terrified of losing all my gains and turning to nothing. But fortunately, I learned how to train, eat, and recover properly. And the results? I got leaner, stronger, and bigger, while simultaneously losing fat. Let me show you exactly how it works. In order to understand what to do right, let's go over what most people get wrong. When the average bro goes to a cut, what happened? They slash calories too hard, they keep training like they're still on a bulk, they start to feeling tired, fat, and weak. And eventually they lose strength, motivation, and muscle. And what most people blame? The deficit, of course. But the deficit isn't the problem. It's the strategy. So how do we flip that? How do you actually shedding fat while simultaneously building muscles? Well, there are 3 pillars you need to master: training, nutrition, and recovery. Miss one and you're toast. Nail all 3 and you're gonna be an unstoppable machine.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Let's talk about training first, because most people get this part very messed up immediately. I run into the same problem where I was cutting. Have you ever go into a cut and suddenly your lift feels like 50 pounds more heavier? Your strength drops, you feel flat, and your motivation just crashes. That is not because you're weak. It's because you're not managing your energy right. Here's the shift. You don't need more training. You need smarter training. What you need to do is lower the overall volume, higher intensity, and more focus on time under tension. You don't have the luxury of burning through calories with 6 days bro split anymore. You need to stimulate muscle with fewer sets, but with more quality. High intensity training usually works really well when you're in a calorie deficit, which entails slower eccentric movement, even slowing down to 4 or to 6 seconds on the positive and the negative part of the motion. And what's important is to push every set closer to or completely to failure. If you advance, volume fatigue will crush you on a deficit unless you adjust. In fact, I apply this type of mentality on myself. I used to train like 6 times per week. Then I reduced to 5, then I reduced to 4, and then I reduced to 3, until I actually end up to do it 2 times a week. But I didn't work out less in terms of intensity. I actually work out way harder because I'm going less days in the gym. And also because I reached the failure sooner, since all my sets are pushed to failure. I increase intensity, but I let my muscle recover fully. And guess what happened? I got leaner and more muscular, and I got stronger. Why that happened? Because quality always beat quantity, especially when you're on a cut. I knew it! Now, after you adjust your training, let's talk about food. Let's start by clearing up one of the biggest lies in nutrition history. Eat less, move more. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. When you are on a deficit, you need to treat your calories like money. Every calorie has to count. Here is what you need to keep in mind while you're in a deficit. Don't exaggerate with your deficit. Don't cut calories too fast and too much of them. Keep the deficit small, 10 to 20% below maintenance, and there should be more than enough to put you in the right track. Also, keep protein high, at least 1 gram per pound of body weight. Don't crush your diet. You're not preparing for a show. You're trying to stay anabolic. Because you don't want to end up having the opposite effect, where you're losing weight too fast, you're eating into your hard-earned muscles. Basically, if you drop weight too fast, your muscle will follow with the fat loss. Just eat clean, prioritize protein and fuel your lifts. And don't be afraid to eat carbs either. They are your secret weapons of training performance, even on a cut. Just balance it with a high protein diet and you should be fine. And if you're a skinny guy like I was, go even slower on the cut. A mild cut with a high protein and optimizing training can actually result in body recomposition, which will put you in a better spot to losing fat and actually building muscle while you're in a deficit. Because as skinny guys, if you cut too quickly, you will lose also muscle in the process. So you gotta take it easy. Every person is different, so you will have different results. So it's better to cut it slowly versus going too fast. So yes, in the end, you can build muscle and losing fat at the same time with diet.
You can do it!
So if you are confused to how to structure your diet and training, don't worry, I have something for you. Download my free PDF down below the description. What is it? It's a full breakdown how to build muscle, burn fat, and how to train in the proper way with the right regimen. No overcomplicated training, no gimmicks, no fluff, just real guidance. Again, if you want to check it out, it's down below the description. It's free. Is yours for the taking. Let's go back to the video. And now let's talk about the one thing that no one wants to do, but everyone needs: recovery. Yeah, I talked about recovery before, but let me be clear about this. Recovery isn't an option. It's the engine behind every gain you make. Just think about it. Muscle is not created and built in the gym. It's built during sleep, during rest, during recovery. And this is even more important when you're in a calorie deficit, when energies are limited. You need to let your body rebuild. And what that means, sleeping 7-9 hours per night, taking full rest days. What I mean by that is very specifically to training. If you do train every day, you're not gonna give your body enough time to recover between workouts. Therefore, I suggest to put more rest day between your workout session. How many? It will depend on you. What I do usually is 3 times or 2 times per week. And in between, I have rest days. You can have up to 24 to 48 hours of rest between workouts. I know it sounds boring and it sounds almost like stupid, but this is exactly what separates the pros from the people that keep training and don't get any gains. When I start to taking rest seriously, not only did I stop the muscle loss, I started gaining more muscle even in a deficit. And in the process, I stopped feeling overtrained and weak and tired all the time. Because you have to understand, when you're in a caloric deficit, the energy are limited. So your body will use it when it needs to use them. If you're given it time, space, and nutrition, it will grow. If you overtrain, undereat, and under recovery, it won't. Also, another thing that I want to add is, if you're a beginner, you're probably gonna gain muscle no matter what you do. That's why newbie gains are the best. Because even in a calorie surplus or a calorie deficit, most likely you will build muscle. But that won't last forever. Eventually you're gonna be intermediate or advanced, and you will need to readjust your training, nutrition, and sleep. So if you do it from the get-go, it will actually benefit you even more. So let's bring it all together. Yes, you can absolutely build muscle while on a cut, on a calorie deficit, but it won't happen by accident. You need to focus on training hard but smart, adjust volume, increase intensity, and prioritize quality over quantity. Eat right, keep the deficit small, focus on high protein, and fuel your lifts with the right nutrition. Recover like a pro, rest, sleep, and let your body grow. If this video helped you and cleared up the fog, hit the like button, subscribe for no more BS fitness breakdowns, and share this video with a friend that still think that cutting and being a calorie deficit means the death for all your gains. As always guys, stay strong, train smart, and I'll catch you guys on the next videos. Ciao for now.